Good morning. Uh, it is Wednesday. I'm back in my house. I took a took a run away for a few days. Um, Went and spent some time with my favorite person, my mother. Um, Went to those beautiful mountains where I call home. Um, Visited a good friend of mine at her church. Got to hear her speak. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Um, Figured I'd come on, hop on, and just share some stuff with you. Now, understand this channel, we do garden, we do whatever. We show you mayor, we show you pretty much everything that's going on in our world. And we do everything with the hope that we make your day a little brighter, a little better. We encourage you and we give you something to think about and maybe help you. You may be struggling with something, and we hope to help you um, with your struggle, or to give you encouragement. Um, Being back in my house is a whole lot different than being on my favorite place. Um, I have to do stuff. Not really. I don't mean that the way that it sounds. Um, I'm drinking, so if you see it, I'm drinking some matcha, and it's kind of, it needs stirred again. Okay. If, I don't know if you heard him or not. Ian's going to put water out for the postman every day, that most days. Um, so, um, while I was at my mother's, um, we were talking, and I was explaining to her some things we learned last year. And some of those had to do with dealing with nature. He's such my boy. I can't get this boy to put on a pair of shoes for love nor money. he's got a temperature and just ran out in his sock feet. He's mine. He's a mountain boy. It's all good. Um, anyway, we do have the puppy dog, and he is taking a nap. Well, he was. He's kind of awake. So we'll do this the best that we can. Hopefully he will decide to lay back down. Yep, and he did. So we can get into. I was having a conversation with my mother, and like I said, we were talking about the experiences we had last year. We did a little bit of, I don't want to call it trapping because it's not really what it was. It was mostly like it was kind of catch and release, for lack of a better word, because we did not have a dog. We did not put a fence around the garden. And we had critters that were coming to feast. So what I found to be pretty effective was if we trapped them for a short period of time and then let them go. And kind of tended to make them, it kind of made our all-you-can-eat buffet a little less appealing for a lot of them, which I'm thankful for because I want to live in harmony with them, and this was an easy way to deter them. However, when you go down there and you're approaching said humane trap, and there's a skunk in it, you got to be real careful. And the first time that we had one, my husband was like, "There's a skunk," and I was like, "I'll deal with it. I got it." So I looked up how to do it, and I went down and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna pretend like I know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna follow what the instructions I seen on YouTube videos and the internet and stuff like that, because other people have had to do this." Um, Now, mind you, we are preparing for, and yes, I know I'm 56 and I'm 57 and my husband is 58. We are getting older, but this is stuff that we still will have to be able to do when we get on other property. So that's why this is important to learn now. Um, as I said, it's a diversion for them, not so much a harm. It's making what they think is it makes what they think is a good source of food not be so appealing. Anyway, when you have a skunk trap, some people can do it without a different way because I guess they're calm enough and they've done it enough. More power to them. I may get there. I'm not yet. But you take a sheet or a tarp or something like that in case they spray, and you slowly approach and you cover the trap or the cage with the tarp. And what that does is it calms the skunk. When you're approaching slowly, you stop if the animal has any type of a reaction, and then you wait for them to calm down, and then you take another one step and give them a chance to either react or not react. When I was telling my mother about this, I said, you know what? There's a sermon in that. So I want to share that with you because there's a good word in that. If we are all in this, because see, there's another something I'm going to tell you about vaguely um, to help you understand why this hit home with me when I was talking to my mom about it. If we are dealing with and dealing with and dealing with and dealing with and dealing with, um, if you get into your feelings, feelings are fickle. Let me tell you something. Feelings are fickle. So if you go by how you feel, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling other, you know, sad, scared, whatever, and you react out of that, your your chances of making a mistake or doing something that you're going to regret are great big because you acted out of your feelings. Now we have them for a reason, and we have to. I'm stumbling with my words a little bit because the other part I don't want to get into a whole lot of detail because it's not something that I want to really. I it has to be as vague as possible. Okay. Um, so what I want to share with you is when I was talking with Mom, and this came to my mind, is like, the book of Psalms 91 says, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. Fortress, I can't say read today apparently. My God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the rewards of the wicked. But because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. We're going to stop there because we could go on and do the whole chapter, but we're going to stop there for time's sake. What that says is when we are in God's covering, when He covers us, you don't have to get that stuff happening. You just don't. I am notorious. We're gonna get a little, I do straight talk. I don't believe in sugarcoating. I don't believe in talking to you about anything that does not apply to me. Okay? Every bit of it. I've said this in numerous videos, but if this is your first one, if I'm talking to you about it or sharing an encouraging word with you, if you think I'm pointing a finger at you, I'm really not. But always remember that even if I am, there's 3 coming back at me. So I hold me 3 times more accountable than I hold you. Now, all of that being said, the reason why this came to back into my world, I had an incident last week with someone that I deeply care about. And it was something that happened to where I had to be the one to just say, for now, I have to love you from afar. And I hate it, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like being in that position. I don't like to have to anything like that. And I like to get along with everybody. I don't like to have to separate myself from people. I don't like it, okay? It's not my nature. So when something like that happens, it affects me deeply. In the course of the situation that happened, there's a Sarge. He missed me too. In the course of everything that happened, I was upset, really, really upset. And I have a circle of good friends around me. And one of my friends had sent me a message. We were neighbors. We were camp kids. Well, not exactly camp kids. We were holler buddies, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. Since my junior year of high school, the right people will be in the right place when you need them, when you have a good group of people. And I have made it a point to make my group of people that are... Sarge, I need you to stop that. I'm getting nosed. He wants me to pet him, and I can't quite do that without getting distracted. See what I mean? Anyway, whenever I had to be the one, because sometimes in life, people will leave you with no choice. Okay? And when you're left with no choice, hold on just a second. Let's do this, because that's just a kind of odd angle. I got to get another tripod. When you're left with no choice, you're left with no choice. And that's just how it is. And that's what the situation ended up in. I had to make the decision to say, I have to be done here for now. What's happening in this is not healthy for me. It's not healthy for my family. There are, I'm going to say this and it's going to sound real ugly, and I really don't mean it, because we've all been that person at some point in our lives. There are people that will just suck all the joy right out of you, and they'll keep on until they have you completely discombobulated. They will absorb all of your attention, all of that stuff. And again, I'm not throwing this at any one person. We have all been that person. I've been that person. Um, you you need and you need and you need and you need and you need um, anybody that has dealt with um, any type of addiction or it's a Sarge tail. Hang on, let's move him. There we go. Um, he's not going to stay beside me. He has to be on me. Anyway, anytime that you deal with somebody that has an addiction, an issue, a problem, um, you have to guard yourself as well as helping them. And that has been something that I have had to learn, is that you have to guard yourself. I am that person that I will jump in head first to help people. I just am. I believe in people. I believe that we all make mistakes and that we all fall short and that we all deserve help. Cat, you're gonna have to settle down. This setup is not strong enough for wallering. Anyway, so when it became that situation where I had to be the one to say, no, to just say, I have to be done here. It broke my heart. It upset me. It tore me all to pieces. And in everything, a friend of mine had sent me a message, and as soon as I started to respond, my phone rang. And when I answered the phone, it's like, stop, don't talk, listen to what I got to say. And everything just spoke into my spirit. And it was like, you need to hear this. You need to get out of your feelings because that's what's going on. You're hurt. That's a feeling. You got to get out of your feeling and figure out what get yourself back in what is real. Um, get back, step back into logic, logical way of thinking, and let it go. Let the situation go. It will all come out in the wash, or whatever decision you've had to make. You probably, you're put into a situation where you have no choice. So what do you choose? You, you can't sacrifice your own well-being for anybody. Period. Um, and whenever it becomes, when somebody, there's a line. There has to be. When there's a line of where you are in a situation and someone repeatedly crosses that line, that's a boundary. That's something that you have said, nope, this is not what we're going to do. And in my case, the boundary was crossed at least 4 times that I could think of. And I let it slide until it was like, I can no longer, I just can't. Um, at which point, you have to separate yourself, and whether it's easy, not easy, good, bad, hurtful, whatever, whether it breaks your heart to do it, you have to do it. Because, see, when that person becomes that person, and like I said, understand, I have been that person that has been a joy sucker, okay? When that person keeps demanding your time, demanding your resources, demanding everything that you have, and they're sucking the very life out of you, understand there's a difference in helping someone and a joy sucker, okay? I've been a joy sucker, so I'm not throwing this at anybody. There just is a distinction. You have to let that joy sucker, you have to kind of put them at arm's length, because people can be, especially if you're like me and just tender-hearted and all that good stuff, that joy sucker becomes a distraction. And it becomes and anything that becomes a distraction distracts you from your calling, from your goals, from everything in life that really matter. So you have to step back from that joy sucker, from that person that's demanding too much from you, from that. And now I'm not meaning your children, okay? Don't get it twisted. When you have small children, they're very demanding. If you adopt a new pet that's a baby, it's going to demand a lot of your time. If you engage with somebody um, in a bad place, it's going to demand quite a bit of time. With that person, though, even though they're in a bad place, you still have to step back and take care of yourself. Not just your physical self, your mental self, your spiritual self, the whole 9 yards. Because if you don't guard your heart, when they start to steal your joy and your peace and all that good stuff, number one, you have allowed it. Number two, you are distracted from what you need to have within you, what you need to take care of, and that's you. It's not selfish to put yourself in a position where you say, I'm taking, I have to step back. I have to take, I have to get my head straight. I have to get my heart straight. I have to get me straight. That's not a selfish place to be. Okay? Because when you get into your feelings, you're going to mess up. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to speak out of anger. You're going to speak out of ugly. You're going to speak out of things that you don't want to speak out of. I live in a home with 3 other people. There are times we speak ugly to each other because we get angry. We're working on it, but it happens in my home. It happens in everybody's home. Um, we are working on doing better. Um, so I wanted to share this with you today because when what my friend spoke to me was, get out of those feelings, get into your brain and into the logic of the situation. And I also wanted to go back to the skunk. When that skunk is covered with the tarp, it calms right down. I mean, you can watch them, they'll just lay right down. They're like, ooh, I'm covered. I'm safe. Whenever you, as a believer, step back into that covering, step into your faith, when you slide into that and you say, okay, God has me covered, I am covered by Him, you begin to relax. And whatever else is around, all those distractions, all that stuff, no longer matter. Now, whenever I say that I had to be the one to walk away from somebody, it does not mean that I hate that person, that I wish ill will towards that person. Quite the opposite. Someone that I love to pieces. I did not wish for this to be the outcome. Quite the opposite. My hope and my prayer is that they will come to a place of understanding and maturity. And that at some point maybe we can rekindle and reconnect. But for now, there was a tremendous drain on my emotional, physical, everything, resources, and a tremendous distraction. And I'm not saying that to be ugly. I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it because it happens. Excuse me. It happens to all of us. So just kind of be mindful a little bit as you go on through life. Um, I'm saying a lot because I don't know. I'm just kind of uncomfortable talking about this, and trying to keep it as vague as possible because I don't want. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to hurt the person that I had to be the one to say, I got to step back from. That's not my intent. My intent is to just let you know that sometimes it happens. And sometimes you have to guard your heart. You have to guard yourself and your health first and foremost. And you have to just be, if it is to where the point to where you have to say, I have to step back. I hate it. I don't want to, but I have to. Do it. You're worth it. You, if you need to step back from somebody, step back from them. Take a break from them. If it's on social media, mute them for a while. Snooze them for a while. Don't have to be permanent. Sometimes it's going to be. Sometimes it's not. But, if it's starting to drain all of your joy, if it's consuming all of your attention, and all that you think of is this situation, this situation, this situation, then you got to take the time to back up and say, okay, I got to reevaluate this. Now, if that other person gets mad because you back up, then they have to deal with that. Okay, that's not yours. That's not your doing. How they handle it is on them. Period. But remember, just be the skunk. Just be the skunk. Because despite what we have been taught and everything about a skunk, they are pretty docile little characters. They're cute. They're adorable. And if you don't threaten them or make them feel threatened, they're just going to go on about their little day. That's just how it is. I was telling Mom, we had the one that I released the first time. Whenever I released it, I covered the tarp and then I released him. I'm assuming it was a him. I don't know. I'm not getting that close to check, okay? But whenever I released him, it just went on its little way, kind of looked back, kind of like to say, hey, thanks, and went on its merry way. Well, the second one, I asked my husband if he wanted to help, so he would know how to do it in case I wasn't here. Well, the one thing that I told him to do, stay calm, don't run. Remember that. I'm just gonna leave that with you. Stay calm, don't run. We'll talk about that in another video. I'll make a note and we'll talk about stay calm, don't run. But I wanted to come on, talk to you. Will we go back to doing some makeup videos? Yes, absolutely yes. It is getting garden time. Will we be back in the garden? Yes. Will we be doing things with Mayor? Yes. Will there be a better angle of me? Yes. But I'm going to let you go because this is getting to be, looks like about 30 minutes. I'm going to let you go get back to what you're doing. I thank you for stopping by. I hope that I said something that helps you or gives you a little bit of encouragement or a blessing. But remember, hide in your covering. God covers us as believers. He covers us in our time of trouble, in our time of trial, in our storms, in our sickness, in the good times and the bad times. Lean into that covering. Be the skunk. Lean into that covering and just calm yourself. Okay? Y'all have a great day. Remember, I am the mayor's daughter. We love you oh so very much. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.